Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar. I suggest we give a few more minutes for participants to join.
Hello.
Okay, hello. So we will start the webinar. Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on best practices and innovative solutions in education for industrial, urban, and symbiosis and circular economy. Thank you for joining us. My name is Alina Raku from EIT Raw Materials. I'll be your host for this session. This webinar is organized by EIT Raw Materials as part of Hubs for Circularity. Hubs for Circularity is a Horizon Euro project that supports the shift to a circular economy by enabling regional ecosystems where industries and cities collaborate in hubs to reuse resources, energies, and data in a more efficient way. And as Europe is moving forward with its green and digital transitions, education and skills are emerging as a critical enabler. And so in today's webinar, we'll hear how different sectors are tackling the education and skills challenge. We'll hear concrete experiences from energy-intensive industries, the chemical sector, and the raw material value chain. The agenda for today, one second. The agenda for today will include 3 presentations followed by a panel discussion. We'll then open the floor for Q&A. So please feel free to post your questions in the chat throughout the sessions. And we are excited to bring together a panel of excellent experts in this area today. We have with us today Professor Dr. Engineer Sebastian Engel. He's chair of the Advisory and Planning Group of Aspire. He's also Emeritus Professor of Process Dynamics and Operations at TU Dortmund. He's been involved in EU projects on circular economy, system modeling, and digital technologies. We also have today with us here Antonius Schroeder. He's senior researcher and management board member at Social Research Center at TU Dortmund. He focuses on social innovation and vocational education and training. He's coordinating the Skills Alliance for Green, Digital, and Social Transformation of the energy-intensive industries. We also welcome here today Professor Dr. Hannes Utikal. He's a dean and professor for business administration at Provadis University. He's also the head of the Center for Industry and Sustainability, a think tank, think and do tank, actually, supporting the manufacturing and its sustainable development. Also here with us today, Dorit Ler. She's an experienced project manager in innovation networks, bioeconomy, and financing strategies, and she's led initiatives bridging industry, research, and policy at BioWall and EIT Climate Kick program. And last but definitely not least, Benjamin Maloney with us here today. He's education manager at EIT Raw Materials. He's involved in the launch and development of the Raw Materials Academies. and he has prior experience at the Irish College of General Practitioners, where he led the programs on digital learning and assessments. So once again, thank you for being here. We look forward to an engaging and insightful session. And without further ado, I suggest we go to the first presentation by Antonius Schroeder. Antonius, the floor is yours.
Yes, thanks a lot, Alina. I just opened my screen and put it in presentation mode, hopefully. Okay, yeah. Yes, good afternoon to everyone. Just what is called by the young people spoiler. Alina, if I overstream the time schedule, please feel free to stop me and that I come to an end. Yes, what I'm wanting to do today is to illustrate you the relevance of skills alliances in the energy intensive industries, as I always say, for the digital, green, and also the social transformation. So this is the project, mainly the project Skills for EII, it's called, as I said, the Skills Alliance for the Green, Digital, and Social Transformation of the Energy Intensive Industries. But this project is very much based on former skills, former and still running skills alliances. So we have, maybe I can go to the, no, um, we have a sector-related skills alliance, the European Steel Skills Alliance, and we have a topic-related skills alliance, which is the Skills Alliance for Industrial Symbiosis. And the new project is based on these former skills alliances or still running skills alliances, and to develop things further. The background all of you might know is that, as I said, there is a digital, green, and social transformation of the energy intensive industries. It's concerning digital skills gaps, new learner expectations, job displacements, etc. And the green perspective is for everyone, it's evident, it's a shift towards sustainability. And social is, for instance, an aging workforce, but also attracting talents and internationalizations, and all these things fit together to improve efficiency, sustainability, and workforce resilience for long-term competitiveness. As I already said, Skills Alliance for Industrial Symbiosis is a topic-related skills alliance. The Skills Alliance, the European Steel Skills Alliance is a steel sector-related alliance, and the Skills for EII is taking this up in a more comprehensive, broader perspective. And not to forget that the new project Skills for EII, which started in January, is not only based on Spire Size and ESSA, but also on the large-scale Partnership for Energy Intensive Industries of the European Pact for Skills. So that's important to have the support of the Pact for Skills, but also the collaboration with other industrial ecosystems. What is Skills for EII about? It is very important for the skills alliances I already mentioned, also the other ones, that it is more or less about 40 partners working together. These partners are not all, let's say, funded partners, but also associated partners, which are part of the project without getting any budget. So this shows the intrinsic motivation of the different sectors and mainly companies for these skills alliances. For Skills for EII, we have 33 applicants from 9 European member states and Turkey. What is relevant there is that we have 21 labor market actors, companies, intermediary associations, social partners, etc. 8 higher education or VET providers and consultancies, and also 1 civil society organization. That shows the approach that we have industry, policy, education providers, and also research and technology organizations. And as I said, a civil society organization, circle economy placed in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So, and these different players are working together under the same topic, under the same umbrella, let's say it like this. And it's important to have this differentiation to integrate the different perspectives and to come to a common solutions. Expected results is to adjust the workforce proactive. That's very important to have this perspective, to deploy and implement new technologies and aiming at the optimization processes. So it's very important, this element, to do it in a proactive way. I come back to this a little bit later. And we are monitoring and shorten the implementation of industry relevant qualifications and training. That means that we always look from an industry perspective, not from formal education, from a formal education perspective. Political support measures are part of it, cross-sectoral upskilling schemes, and not to forget, most of the sectors have problems in recruitment and retention. So we also working on more measures for more attractiveness of energy-intensive industries for talented people. So to summarize this, what I said, our mission is industry-driven, proactive adjustment of the future skills with the industry and for the industry. So this is a short overview concerning our results of we had found out in Spire Size. So you see here that there is a difference between the implementation and skills between energy efficiency and industrial symbiosis. So industrial symbiosis is not so much in the focus concerning the skills. So the main barriers, interesting was that also concerning the collaboration, that public actors are also main actors of industrial symbiosis and energy efficiency. Main barriers, you might find this not astonishing, is the costs of investment, regulation, outdated plants, infrastructure, cooperation challenges, and skills gap. There are mainly no specific training programs especially for industrial symbiosis, and the existing training measures are primarily non-formal, unstructured, and there is a high need for training in this direction. Middle and high level of skills needs have to be updated, And also it has to be kept in mind that there might be new jobs and professions. So this is I won't go too much in detail. This is showing in which way we are starting with our skills demands and the related training for it. So we are looking at the job profiles in the companies. This was what we did in the industrial symbiosis project. So there to be highlighted is that most of that for sure the production area is affected, but a lot of functional areas as well on the management level, but also on the operational level. So that was our starting point across all the 8 sectors at that time we have integrated. And based on this, we made the skills classification. And there was a technological skills perspective divided between industrial symbiosis and energy efficiency, but also individual and personal skills. So environmental awareness, collaboration, initiative taking, entrepreneurship, critical thinking, creativity. These are skills which affect also the management and the operational level. For the management, there are additional skills relevant on the regulation perspective and business related. Based on the results and what is could be seen as a success story is that we developed an online training platform. For ESSA, it's a Steel Hub, and for Spire Size, it's a Skills for Planet platform. To show you a bit more what is behind it, we have a skill directory, which I have shown here. So education and training alignment, policy making, collaboration, recruitment, talent acquisition, the workforce development and planning, and supporting career development and pathways. Sorry, I have to minimize this. So that's one main part of both online training platforms. Another part is the capability assessor, where it is possible to check what kind of skills you already have, let's say related to a certain profession, and where are your skills gaps on different skills levels, and then you are directed directly to the training to fill these gaps. And it's important to say that also the learning solution directory with the different courses is a relevant one. But what is now much more in focus in the new project are digital credentials, and therefore we are working on micro credentials that could be used from anyone who is interested in this accreditation. And very important part is the integration. It's an open system where everyone or every interested company or training provider could integrate her training modules, and it is then also possible for individual users, for companies, and also for universities and vocational education and training providers to integrate modules of these online platforms in their own learning management system, in their own learning pathways, and so on. So it's as I said, it's open for everyone of the ecosystem I talked about a bit formally, and it is also for the use of everyone from the ecosystem. So there are trainings for free, which are relevant for free because they are funded by European money, for instance. And there are also courses of professional training providers with a small fee that could be used. For instance, in the Spire Size project, we had developed a course for energy efficiency, and in the one for industrial symbiosis, and what is called here strategy for enhanced learning. This is train the trainer, train the teacher courses. So and these modules could be from part of classroom and practical training, e-learnings, mentoring and coaching and consultancy is part of it, webinars, game-based learning, 3D modules, more and more animated videos and virtual reality, but also peer-to-peer learning is supported with this platform. So let me now have a look at a closer look at the skills for energy intensive industries project, to show you in which way we are working. The starting work package and module is about skills intelligence. So it's about skills demand and supply possibilities. There we focus on the technological needs or the technological foresight and the related skills demands. And a topic we integrated also is the concept of Industry 5.0, and therefore mainly the relevant skills for developing human-centric technologies. Then we have two parts of the skills, the skills demand related trainings, and one is of the cross-sector training. So we found out in the former skills alliances that there are topics which are relevant for every sector. So industrial symbiosis and energy resource efficiency is one. Image and recruiting as well. Train the trainer, train the teacher. Digitalization, artificial intelligence, but also a broader perspective on soft skills and transversal skills. And we are looking for specific skills for Industry 5.0 development. So these are the cross-sectoral trainings. And then we also, one lesson learned was to look much more in depth in the specific sectors and find out sector-specific trainings, but also have a sector-specific rollout. So here you see the different sectors part of the skills for EII project. So it's steel, minerals, ceramics, water, raw materials, engineering, logistic, chemicals, aluminium, cement, refinery, But we are looking also for integrating during the course of the project other sectors or further sectors, for instance, pulp and paper and glass. We are in communication with them. Another lesson learned was that it is not so easy to bridge the level, the European level we are working on with the national regional level. So we have some good cases for the steel industry, but this is an industry with not so many players in Europe, let's say it like this. But the other sectors we are looking now to integrate much more also the national and the regional local actors. And to do this, we want to, or we will develop a marketing strategy and to come to in the end, hopefully to come to a European community of practice concerning these skills approach, not reinventing the wheel every time new at the local level. And last but not least, we want to integrate the online training platforms into the Hub 5.0 learning platform and develop micro credentials. That's what I already said. A first impression is that we are working on,
Antonius, I'm sorry, I'll just jump in. We're a bit over time. If it's possible to wrap up in the next few seconds.
I think it's more or less the last slide.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
This is a skills intelligence tool we are working on, skills foresight tool, which is based on artificial intelligence. So we in former times we had a look at a lot of paper documents to find out this and the technological development, and we hope with this tool this could be done in a more easiest way. Yes, and we just to finalize, we are looking for a sustainable skills alliance, as I said, with these elements I mentioned, to come to a permanent implementation and permanent running. Here are some links where you can find more detailed information, but I'm also open for any calls and emails to give you to answer your question here, but also after the webinar. So thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you, Antonius. Thank you very much for this insightful presentation, also showing the tools and raising awareness about what's available there for the industry. We'll move on to the next presentation, but we have one presentation, two speakers. Mr. Utikal and Ms. Ler will be presenting the next slides. The stage is yours.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So we are happy to share some experience we had in the terms of professional education in the field of industrial symbiosis, industrial-urban symbiosis, and circular economy in the chemical industry. We are based at the Industrial Park Frankfurt-Höchst, and we have been working quite a lot in the past, especially with EIT Climate Kick. And we've been working on the topic on how can you have systems innovation materialize, what skills are needed for have these kind of systems, transformations, innovations, and we worked as well on the topic on how to make the circular economy happen. And I will just bring a few context information afterwards. Dorot will come up with the recent projects we are having in the field of the bioeconomy. So we are based at this industrial park, and as you said before, we are a think and do tank in the sense that we are not only thinking or writing papers, but we are doing as well studies or qualifying people and the topic on how to work on the sustainable transformation of the industry. The core topic we are facing as an industrial park is what is the future in 2045 or 2050? Are we going to be the hub for the circular economy in the region here in Frankfurt? Are we going to be the climate neutral production facility? So the same as today, but climate neutral, or are we going to be the combined heat and powerhouse for the region? So these are different potential directions, and we are working on the question, what will be the economic successful transformation of our park? We've founded one current cluster, Process for Sustainability, where we are working together with different companies on site on the topic and how to transform this industrial park towards climate neutrality. And you do see there that we've got 90 companies on site, 22,000 people on site, and as we are a former Verbund production site, we've got a lot of linkages between those different production facilities. You see there the big names working on that topic. And that's of importance as we have to see how we will be climate neutral and at the same time make use of the industrial symbiosis. And that was something we analyzed last year, especially, and published the results, realizing that industrial symbiosis may even hinder the transformation towards climate neutrality. If there are too many different actors with too many different interests, it might be difficult to align all those activities towards climate neutrality while at the same time using industrial symbiosis ideas. What is the role of the chemical parts with regard to 2050? And to make this short, you do have all the infrastructure that is needed for scaling up potential new technologies. You can come up as a scale up and use all the different facilities and the resources available and the clients available. So you do have the raw materials available, you've got the industrial infrastructure in place, and you do have the region networks. And all this can be activated in order to develop in a local industrial park new business models. You do see here a few examples where we've been successful in combining those different elements in terms of industrial symbiosis that we're using, for instance, carbon dioxide with hydrogen, and the outcome is then sustainable aviation fuel. So something new that is built out of the resources that are available. So we do have real practical examples for this industrial symbiosis here in the region. Another one would be the fuel cell that is fueled with hydrogen from the industrial park. This can be seen as an example for industrial urban symbiosis, where the raw materials from the industrial park are used for the mobility solutions of the local train providers. So we do have those examples that are already working. I mentioned before that we do have quite some experience in working together with different European partners. Antonius mentioned before those skills alliances. We had those especially with regard to the EIT Climate Kick family, and we made different change managers programs. And I will just present two in order to highlight how this system innovation capability can be educated or taught through specific programs. We've been working as well with the GIZ on the topic of sustainable industrial area management, checking how this knowledge can be applied as well in order to make use of industrial symbiosis ideas on a worldwide scale. So what are our guiding principles when we are talking about those professional education activities? First, our assumption is always that it's best if you have got a challenge-based learning. So a practical challenge should be at the starting point of the education activity, not just sharing knowledge from a textbook, but make it practically relevant and take the practical challenge as the starting point. Second, make sure that the results out of the learnings can be applied practically in order to come up with a new practical impact or result, so that the participants do not only absorb knowledge, but they apply this knowledge and tools for the really relevant practical problems. We believe that you need to have an interdisciplinary approach. You should have a modular approach. you should have the capability of having a personalized learning journey, so that it's not one size fits all. Very often with the EIT Climate Kick, the trainer acted as a coach for supporting the learning process from the perspective of the participants. And we tried to use the knowledge triangle with different elements from education, research institutions, and from business. We summarized this in a little paper, and we've been working as well in the past on the topic of what are the relevant, practical relevant trends, competencies for systems innovation, and those are published there as well. What are the practical examples I would like to share? One very brief example was that we had this challenge-oriented interdisciplinary summer school from Climate Kick PhD summer school, where the different students have been working together for 2 weeks on the question on how this city of Frankfurt can be transform its energy supply to 100% renewable energies. In the first week, it was especially lectures from transition management scholars, from practitioners, Siemens, and so on. And they started with the challenge of the city of Frankfurt. And then the second week, they had to focus on the topic, what could be the potential solution? And they had to pitch this solution to a jury from the city, where the city said, oh, this and that approach is helpful for us. The core idea was to apply system thinking and transformation management thinking to real-life challenges and to form up a community of PhD students focusing on this kind of transformation processes. And we did those kinds of PhD schools several times, I think 3 to 4 times, always with this practical approach and always supported by a learning coach, where the different students had to observe their own learning process in the sense of where are my learning hurdles currently, what have I learned, what is the interaction problem I may have with my team as well. Another example that was focusing as well on the system innovation approach was a very practical oriented 6-month program where our participants, practitioners, have been working in different system environments. So someone from a company had to work for 4 weeks at a public administration, either in Frankfurt or in Birmingham, and the other way around. The saying was there, in order to make sure that this kind of cross-sectoral collaboration is working, you need to be able to strengthen your knowledge on how to work with others and understanding the system logic of different environments. And they had to work in those groups and their practical assignments. They had a regional assignment as well, where they had to work together with different participants, and they were supported by a learning coach as well, and they had to pitch at the end again the solution to the regional government. So that's about the topic what I would like to focus here. Now it's Dorot, it's your turn, right?
Yes. Yeah, I will also share my screen and continue. So, one sec. Yes. So, yeah, I will now give examples why the guiding principles that Hannes presented are particularly relevant also for industrial symbiosis and circular economy. And starting with an example here at the industrial park in Frankfurt, we have the startup CO2 BioClean that produces biodegradable polymers from biogenic CO2 and hydrogen. And this startup actually got an EIC funding from the European Union. So it was now looking for a place where it could build up its test facility. And the place was found in this industrial park. And here you have a little picture of the opening ceremony. And you may not know, but part of this picture is also the Hessian, so the state minister of economics. So it was quite a big thing here. And yeah, so they had the test facility now built here, but I mean, also a startup not only needs infrastructure, but also the market around. So that's where we came into play. So I'm leading coordinator of the BioBal innovation space. It's BioBal stands for bioeconomy in the metropolitan area. And we work together with a startup to identify markets where they can sell their products, or further markets to sell their products, and build a new value creation network. So we started with a startup that had the technology. The startup found its place in the industrial park, so working together with Infraserv, the operation, who operates the industrial park. And then, we further connected it with BioVox, a company that is actually using those polymers to transform it into medical grade plastics. So then it can actually be used by companies that are selling those medical instruments. And the aim is to further enhance their market chances of the startup. And those collaborations always look like nice in presentations, but I was a bit involved in the process of setting up this project, and it showed me really that those principles, those guiding principles presented by Hannes are really relevant to get results, to get those partners that have different objectives, have different demands on the resources, align the interest of each of the stakeholders, so that in the end, there will be chances for, wins for all of them with those new value chains. That is one practical example. Another example I would like to give is from another bioeconomy project I'm involved in, the National Transfer Network to Accelerate the Industrial Bioeconomy, called TransBib. Probably not all of you are aware what bioeconomy is. So in very short, the bioeconomy, the industrial bioeconomy, integrates biological resources, processes, and principles into industrial and economic activities. And we see it as an important part of the circular economy. So future resources, in particular in the chemical industry, should not come from fossil resources, but from, on one hand, recycling, but on the other hand, it should also come from bio-based resources. The project is a network project of over 15 partners, and we connect about 40 regions in Germany. And our specific task here that could be relevant for this group here is that we are looking at the competencies that are needed for a successful transition in the chemical industry. And for us, the transition is a transition towards more biological resources. And so in the chemical industry, we observe a biologization of chemistry. So that comes with a progress of the biotechnology, and with that, fermentation skills, for example, are increasingly being asked by companies. So there's already a demand for those, for new skills. And in Germany, yeah, we have the vocational education and training system, which is quite prominent and well seen in at least, yeah, in Germany, and I think even yeah, in the EU and worldwide. And this is the important building block to reskill and upskill the working forces, and also the young ones coming into the working into the labor market. And yeah, so having said that, it's very well renowned, but it's not that dynamic system. So it's not that easy to include changes in this system. But yeah, from the interviews we had, we became the first results that those yeah, the skills needed are beside those technical skills, how to do a fermentation. For this transition, it also needs soft skills, also at the working working level, because yeah, the processes that are being applied are not anymore the usual processes that have been optimized for the last decades, but in the transition it needs new processes who yet have to be optimized, and yeah, you have to be resilient, have to adapt, have to be flexible, also yeah, in the laboratory. And another point that I found interesting, or that I experienced here in the industrial park, that timing of these educational measures is key. That when I talked to colleagues here in the industrial park 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was no awareness that these are actually skills that need to be included in the education system. But now, as transition progresses, it becomes more and more a need by the companies, and there's a lot more awareness that yeah, the curricula has to change. And yeah, with that, I would like to close our little presentation with the words, or with some lessons learned and recommendations. So for us, professional education on industrial symbiosis and industrial urban symbiosis encompasses knowledge, skills, and attitude, as we mentioned. And my play is that we don't forget about the skilled workers, for example, in the laboratories. So yeah, the best transformation is not successful and is not sustainable if not all of the workforce is engaged and supports it. And yeah, to do so, practical challenges and economic opportunities should be at the center of any learning program. To convince people, to convince the workforce to take part in educational programs, yeah, you also need the economic opportunities. And then last but not least, cross-sectoral and cross-disciplinary learning are essential for closing resource loops. And there, I guess in this audience are probably a few people who work in networks, who are cluster manager in networks. And here I can say from my experience, yeah, network activities are also highly important to foster an implicit learning, to raise awareness on specific topics and bring people together that probably normally not talk to each other. So yeah, with that, I would like to close and thank you for the possibility to present here.
Thank you very much, Dorit and Hannes. Really great presentation. And Dorit, you finished really nice, sweet, and straight to the point with a summary of recommendations. We will move to the next presentation now by Ben Maloney, who will be presenting on the Raw Materials Academies launched by EIT Raw Materials.
All right, can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes. We can see your screen, we can hear you. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much, Alina, for having me here today. These presentations so far have been extremely interesting for me and very, very relevant, and I'll probably be contacting everyone who's presented so far and follow up to talk more about this in the context of the European Raw Materials Academy, which I'm here to present today. Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Maloney. I am an education manager here at EIT Raw Materials. I've been with EIT Raw Materials now for over a year. And I work in several different areas of the education department, but today I'm here to talk to you about the European Raw Materials Academy. I also, though, would like to mention that we will be announcing soon that in addition to the Raw Materials Academy, we have been granted the Advanced Materials Academy. So today, when I present numbers and things, even though we haven't formally announced that the Advanced Materials Academy is one of our projects, all of the numbers, KPIs, and things that I'm mentioning today, the goals are more than double as ambitious. So everything I say should, in terms of the numbers of providers that we want to bring on board and all of this, you can think of it that way, even though I'll stick to Raw Materials Academy numbers for just the purposes of this presentation. Really quickly, I know I don't have too much time. I will go through the things we'll talk about today. So I'm going to give an overview of what the Academy as a concept is. But really today I'm here to bring a call for action. And based on the relevance of those who are here today, I know that there's plenty of potential partners who might be interested in working with us in this Academy to help us achieve our goals. And of course, it looks like there will be lots of synergy in terms of how we can help you and your organizations achieve your goals as well. So I will just quickly jump on to the first slide then. So this is the European Raw Materials Academy. As I said, there's also the Advanced Materials Academy, but just imagine everything's double or a little bit more than double. I think it was Antonius earlier who said "with industry for industry," and that is also one of our taglines for this. I guess that's not something you can really patent, so I guess we'll have to share. Mission for this academy is to support the upskilling and reskilling of professionals by education and training providers across the EU member states and across the entire raw materials sector and the entire raw materials value chain. This has a particular focus in small and medium enterprises, and from the training side of things, a particular focus in VET. So this is a 3-year project. We just announced, as you can see in the picture here at the Raw Materials Summit back in May, that we have a project, and the project has just kicked off in July, earlier, a couple of weeks ago. So the core KPIs for this project are to achieve 100,000 learners in the raw materials industry. We have to develop 50 training programs delivered, of which 20 need to be developed from scratch, with similar targets for the Advanced Materials Academy. We have to also establish a network of 60 training providers with over 120 trainers. And actually, when you mirror that to the other academy, they have even much more substantial numbers of training providers. So really today, this is a call for action for anyone who might want to partner with us and get involved. You can see the huge number of partners that we need to work with in these academies. Also, we have a KPI to develop a learning platform, which we're calling the Skills Hub, which will be the central infrastructure for delivering the Academy. I'll give some more details about that on a later slide. And then we need to achieve financial sustainability by the end of the project period. So we have 3 different stages in terms of how we're approaching these 100K learners. We've really broken apart our target audiences into what can be achievable at what stage of the project. So the first and foremost target audience here, and where we're going to start with our efforts in developing the courses, the learning platform, and as well as our marketing communication strategy, will be around the individual learners, and that will be for the entire 3-year duration of the project, that they remain at the core. Further on, though, we will also be developing products and courses that are targeting corporates and SMEs specifically, including custom courses and other types of products that can pair with our custom courses in order to be, a pair of skills intelligence for them, as well as training solutions. And then the last target audience we will bring in after we've addressed corporates and SMEs in our strategy is civil servants and policymakers, who are a core target audience for the Academy as well. A few others have touched on this same idea, but in our own skills needs and skills gaps analysis, we have also come to a similar conclusion that as technical skills, of course, are core to our industry, there is significant demand, in particular looking ahead for the next 5 to 10 years, for an increase in digital and transversal skills as a part of our course portfolio. So when we approach course development, we are addressing, of course, all of the different areas of the materials value chain, but then also thinking through everything through the lens of how can these courses emphasize the importance of digital transformation. And we have that broken down for our industry into kind of 6 major categories of digital transformation. So artificial intelligence, virtual, augmented reality, autonomous design and automation, Internet of Things and digital infrastructure, data security, and then digital natives. Here are some emerging role categories that we're also looking for when we are developing our course launch strategy. In terms of that course launch strategy, we have also kind of a 3-pronged approach here. These aren't in any particular order except for the first, which is our first stage, which we are already deep into and almost concluded our first phase of this. This is repackaging all of the EIT Raw Materials existing portfolio of courses, getting all of the IP rights sorted, getting everything into the correct format for our new platform that we'll be launching in the next month, and all of these types of things in order to migrate and repackage that content over. But then, potentially for this audience, the more interesting approaches for getting to our 50 course goal here are going to be the cross-placing of existing content in the sector, as well as the developing of new content. And I'll touch more on what both of these topics are. At the core of our academy, and both of our academies, will be the Skills Hub, our engine, which we're calling the engine of our academy. This, in addition to being fundamentally a learning management system that can host and deliver courses, it also brings in some other incredible technologies, one of which is going to be a leading proprietary provider of skills intelligence. So when users log into the platform, it will break down their skills through the context of what's most relevant for the industry at the moment, and then looking ahead as a projection. It'll use this to give them recommendations in terms of actually personalized learning pathways that they can take in order to achieve certain personal economic goals. And that will be informed by the different courses we have available within our platform. So the more courses we can bring together from other education training providers within our ecosystem, we can develop into a centralized learning hub with all of the best stuff there. And this enhances the ability of our AI tool to give personalized learning pathways and journeys for every individual user. So this is also eventually going to be an enterprise-ready platform that will have a different set of features when companies log in and use the platform for their employees as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to get to the call to action part of this now. What are we looking for in potential partners who can join us in our mission for the Raw Materials and also for the Advanced Materials Academy? We are looking for VET organizations, as well as large European-wide training bodies or networks with access to extensive number of learners, training providers, courses, and trainers as well. Antonius, let's get in touch. It sounds like you might already fit in as someone who we should be talking with and who we can potentially be working with for these. We also are looking for potential partners who have existing portfolios of training programs, which can attract large number of learners and professionals that are ideally offered in scalable or in an online learning format for us to achieve as many learners as possible. We're looking to develop training topics that address the most pressing needs of the materials industry, raw materials and advanced materials. particularly future-focused skills such as digitalization, as I mentioned earlier. We are looking for partners who can provide credentials, micro-credentials, and certification on top of the training programs that we partner to deliver. Also important for us is a regional focus to help us achieve a breadth of regions across Europe and languages. And if a bonus to that would be if you have connection to local public authorities. And then lastly, experience in development of self-paced learning in diverse and scalable formats such as SCORM or XR environments. This is not an exhaustive list of who we are looking to partner with, but if any of these seem like they're kind of aligned with what you or your organization is doing, then potentially we could be a good partner, and we'd love to get in touch. I do want to come back to this last point about the development of self-paced learning, and thank you. I think there's some really good guiding principles that we've heard in the last talk, as well as some other notes that I'm taking away from this from a pedagogical perspective that will highly inform how we do this. Often one of the criticisms I think we get in our industry is that we have a lot of potentially technical knowledge, but when it comes to bringing in universities to help us develop these courses by themselves, it's clear that there's a bit of a gap in terms of their ability to develop at a high level, really, really high quality learning content that's meant for this online environment in SCORM packages and self-paced learning. So while they have the technical expertise, we need to partner them with e-learning developers. So that's also something we're looking for as partners. Okay, so now you know what we're looking for. I want to try and be clear about, of course, what could be in it for you if you're coming from an organization who might be a potential partner for these academies. For your organization, you can co-brand your portfolio within our skills platform or in our learning ecosystem. We're going to be able to develop subsections of our overall platform for every single provider that we partner with, so they can have their own section of our website where they can advertise, and actually even in some cases, if they want to, post the learning content directly. In addition to that, we are, in the next couple slides here, I'll talk about how we are going to co-create. We're looking for partners to co-create many new courses with us. So those would come with direct funding available if you have the ability to help us develop courses. We're building this platform so others can come on, post their courses, trainings, and events, promote their brand across our European partner network, and also take advantage of the substantial resources that we will be putting into promotion in a pretty major marketing communication strategy for this academy. So if you want to join us, you can, of course, benefit from that. You can gain EU visibility in alignment with funding initiatives, and if there are other courses on our platform that could be interesting to your trainees, what this could do by partnering with us, you can improve your course offering to your trainees by utilizing the available content and credentials that exist within our learning ecosystem. For your trainees and learners, access to industry-aligned micro-credentials, seamless integration of new digital transversal competencies, visibility to employers through our job portal. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention earlier about our platform, is it's actually going to have a direct link with AI-driven job recommendations that are tied to many different job boards around Europe, including LinkedIn and some other EU job boards as well. So these will, on our platform, not only learning data analytics, but you also have the ability to see what jobs are out there. And similarly, if you are an employer, you can actually have hiring directly through our platform as well. And then lastly, participation in EU endorsed ecosystem. So we are going to start rolling out a pipeline for new content development. We have a couple of pieces of our skills taxonomy that we need to finalize in our work package 2. That is kind of a primary first step, but already we've produced recommendations in the next courses we want to launch. The courses that we launch, for the most part, will all be done with funding from us, and therefore we will post these in an open and competitive process on our website, saying we need to, for example, we have just closed a call to develop an AI machine learning for raw materials course. I'm sorry I didn't update this. Our website that's open with the deadline till the end of August. And this is to develop future-focused courses for the raw materials sector. And that's a much more broad call with a project period of 12 months. And funding, I believe, up to 800,000 for development of a portfolio, although we're encouraging people to make smaller submissions for courses so that it increases your likelihood of being selected if it's kind of a bang for buck evaluation process for Skills for Tomorrow call. And then, of course, once we finalize the skills taxonomy and we are working with a content development working group of experts who will be kind of signing off on the prioritization, just like this AI machine learning course, we will be developing call after call after call for development of new courses in partnership with us, each of which will have funding available. So please keep an eye out if you're interested in helping us develop content. We'd also love some input, some feedback. We have a short questionnaire here. I think it's just about 3 questions. So we'll get some insights from you. And in addition, if you submit this form, it's kind of a good entry point for us to begin a conversation. We'll have you in our database then. Or if you want to skip the form and you want to just email me or anyone on the education team at EIT Raw Materials directly, my email is here. All right.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
And Alina, I'm so sorry. I actually have to run after this. I won't be able to stay for the panel. Is that okay?
All right. No
Okay,
problem.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Maybe you can answer one question then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move directly to the panel discussion. Yes.
What's the business model behind what you're doing?
Okay, good question. So because it's going to be European funded, we're doing a combination of a significant amount of free material on our platform, in addition to over time phasing in paid services as well. So our platform, in addition to being a hub that offers courses that you can take as a professional, it brings together, as I said, several different technologies in order to help someone identify where their skills gaps are, figure out what courses they should take in what order in order to achieve their goals, and then offer them direct matchmaking services as well within the platform. Over time, certain elements of this will stay free forever, and then other elements that we've invested in personally will go into turning this into a paid subscription model for professionals. And then we're going to take another approach for going B2B, which is directly paid custom services for companies. Small, medium enterprises will have discounts, and bigger corporations will have higher prices. And that'll be our primary business model. Eventually, we'll be using all of the hubs that we've developed for professionals and organizing them in a way that's a business to sell to other companies in the sector.
Okay, but too early to say whether it works out.
Exactly. We have it's a funded project for 3 years for the Raw Materials Academy, and for the Advanced Materials Academy, it's a period of 4 years of project funding, and they each come with about 10 million in EU funding for those projects. Yeah, but we will have another commercialization expert who's actually in charge of the work package 7, which is the commercialization work package. So I can't speak too much on that.
Okay.
I'm not the expert on that part. All right, guys, thanks so much for everyone. And it was very, very interesting. I'll be in touch, but I do have to run. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And also thanks to the others for their insightful and interesting presentations. Yeah, I had assumed that we have a webinar where let's say we can see the participants, but obviously we can only see them in the chat. So if anybody has a question to the speakers, please write in the chat. Please use the opportunity. Yeah, we will start before we see some questions. My questions, let's say, are a bit philosophical is the wrong word, but structural. And let's say one key question is, of all what was presented today, except the letter where we cannot get an answer now, how do you see the relationship of what you're doing to the traditional activities of the institutions that are mainly responsible for education? I mean, in all European countries, we have schools, we have some sort of training, better or worse. We have universities, schools for technicians, etc., etc. And so, how do you see your role and the role of all these skill enhancing projects relative to what all of these institutions are doing? And they are not cheap, and they do a lot. So, I mean, merely in terms of numbers, I have educated something like 3,000 of the currently working engineers in the German chemical industry in automatic control. So, and that has a long impact. So what you miss then will not be kept, maybe caught up with over 20 years of professional experience. Okay, but that's just a side note. So how do you see the relationship of all these initiatives to the traditional education institutions or providers, if you want so?
I'm happy to start, or Hannes?
No, just start. It's fine.
Yeah, for us, as mentioned in our study or in our latest activities, we're looking at the VET's education, and the feedback we so far received was always that the system works, the educational system works. There are it's this mix of school that yeah, the employees have to go to school, and then there are periods where they are in the company or are here at Provades in another, or we call it educational service, a service that we provide here. So our attempt at the moment for the bioeconomy is not to change the system, not to bring in something new. It would be too bureaucratic anyway, but to see where we could add on to what is there, to see if there are, so at the moment we are looking at a train the trainers program to raise the awareness that new topics should be included in the system, in the normal, like, chemical laboratory or chemical technician education. So yeah, we want to work together, not against or be a competition, but to make it better is our goal.
Thank you.
I will just add to that. I think it's an additional layer, building on the strength, the disciplinary strength of the existing activities, connecting those disciplinary strengths with a thematic focus, and bringing as well something like the international dimension to this kind of work. Because especially in the climate kick world, we have been working with partners in Estonia as well, and Portugal and so on. So you're connecting and sharing this knowledge across Europe, what is not necessarily the case if you're just in this disciplinary silos of the existing organizations.
I mean, if you refer to a PhD summer school, I mean, that's not a completely new format, but of course, very good for the students and to have this both international and cross-disciplinary
yes,
perspective.
And the new aspect was that this transition management theory wasn't fully settled at this time as part of the curriculum for PhD students in different universities. So they're very often in a specific niche. And by bringing these niches from the different countries together, they had the impression of being a larger community. And that was so, it was building up a new field of theory as well and creating new career pathways.
Yeah, that is exactly my experience, our experience as well. It is we have to find a balance or a connection between the industry needs. Companies always say the formal education systems are too slow. It takes too much time. So when in our skills alliances, we were looking for leeways of the existing formal VET, vocational education and training systems. And because we are working on the European level, as I said, we have to bridge our knowledge, our results with the regional local level. And therefore we had in the Steel Industry Alliance, we had in seven countries continuous workshops for presenting our results and to illustrate what the impact was, that in a German region the participants of the workshop said, okay, now the steel industry is changing to hydrogen-based production, and we cannot wait 3-4 years to integrate it in the formal system. We want to have additional qualification hydrogen, which is part of the formal apprenticeship education. And then at the regional level, the company, training provider, chambers of commerce, unions, and some other actors, they developed very quickly within 6 months this training module, and it was accepted by the Chamber of Commerce in the region and seen as a pilot one. And after 12 months, I guess, it was put on the federal government level as an additional qualification which could be accredited in every of the Länder of Germany. So this is a quite an example. We had, when we looked at the VET system from the industry perspective, describing job profiles and the qualifications in the different countries, in 5 countries, we analyzed it, Poland, Germany, Italy, etc. It is so much fragmented, and it's so much with different, not only languages, but terminologies, so that it's from a European perspective, it could not be harmonized in any way. So therefore, what we can do is to give inputs, to transfer our results, and hope that there is a process starting at the local level with the related, let's say, intrinsic motivated people, and that works. That's I could give some other examples.
So what, if I can abstract it a bit, then what you say is you support these systems by helping them to realize deficiencies, add or help to develop new content, maybe also exchange between countries. I think that is probably also quite important, because the quality of the VET is, I assume, quite different, and the whole structure in Europe, right?
Yeah, but it's much more about the integration of already existing, let's say, training modules or courses in their own learning path, or in their own learning management systems. So that's and it's the most important thing is the language in this respect, but also what I personally see as the most important challenge in Europe, not in Asia and other areas of the world, is that most of the people do not have the capabilities for digital learning. So, but this relates not to higher education, what Hannes and Dorit mentioned. It's on the VET level, so it's quite a challenge. And I know a lot of companies, or not. I know some companies who are working on it to integrate much more digital elements in their training and education.
In the initial training or in retraining?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
In general, how do you see, I mean, both for the, I think it's a big difference between academic training and this VET training, but certainly, let's say the two sides of qualification and requalification are important for both. So what would you see the main field where one should engage? So what you described before referred to qualification. I understood mostly of people who are already in the training phase still or are still young, but also there's a lot of workforce that has to cope with changes of the working environment, probably mostly in the digital area. So is that an important aspect of all this skills development, and also maybe a possible commercial, or it definitely is a commercial market, but also one where the project partners could engage in?
Yeah, from my experience, which is mostly directed to the VET education, so on the job, but also in the dual system in Germany, etc. And within this education area, the trainers and teachers, they have a crucial role. So they have to change as well. But I saw a lot of trainers who were very excited about the new technological possibilities for maintenance and documentations of materials and so on. And they, if they take up this role, what Hannes and Dorit said, with also with coaching, if they take up this role, then it works. So otherwise, they are the link between the digital and the on-the-job training.
Maybe I just can share one example we had with Provades in the TVET section. One train-the-trainer program in order to integrate sustainability issues into the traditional TVET activities. And the different students in the TVET system, they had to apply this knowledge and find in their company where they are working one specific topic they would like to improve in their company. They need to find a company-specific mentor. They had to work on this topic, for instance, integrate a recap system into the cafeteria, for instance. And then they had to try to implement it. And after 3/4 of a year, they had to present that with all the different companies. And they said, oh, what we did in this company was this and that. The different trainer, they had to be enabled to make the students work on those topics. The students had to identify the company-specific challenge, and they had to find the mentor in order to make something happen. And they have been reflecting afterwards, how was this change process? And the core learning was, on the one hand, the trainer was the coach supporting the trainee in applying this knowledge. And the trainee realized that he or she could do something in the company setting. So in German would be Selbstwirksamkeit, ability to make something and have this kind of entrepreneurial approach. And this can be helpful afterwards to face new challenges with the knowledge I can change something as well. So that's something you can have with a very low entry point. You can use this kind of knowledge and strengthen thereby the young learners.
That was for what kind of people?
It was trainees, Auszubildende. So,
okay.
And it was a train-the-trainee program, a train-the-trainer program. The project is Anlean, where the trainers have been supported in terms of how to talk about the SDGs, for instance, how to find company-specific solutions, so that they can have this for them new knowledge as part of their training activities, their lectures. And then the trainees in the companies had to find an application field. And even you would say, oh, that's easy and that's nothing special. For them, it was a huge learning experience because they were the one trying to energize and change their own company. That was new.
Yeah, that's exactly what we also want to do in a new project called Super, which is about recruiting and training of students and bring them closer to the steel industry. There we use the concept of EIT raw materials called RACE. So 45 students are now end of August in the region of Krakow and Gliwice. And what Hannes mentioned, exactly, we want to do this not only by information giving, but by what you call challenge-based training. So they have to actively find a solution, try to find a solution for a challenge in the steel companies they are visiting. And
again, what kind of students are these?
From because it's also in recruiting project, they are from different areas, not only from metallurgists or something similar.
No, I mean, do you talk about university or Fachhochschul students, or is it people?
University students from all over the world.
Ah, okay.
They could participate.
So it's kind of also showing that the basic industries may be an interesting employer.
Yeah, for sure. That's the idea behind it, and we will have a baseline and an evaluation interview afterwards to see if their impression goes down or up.
Okay. Maybe let's get a bit back to the topic of the webinar, namely skills for industrial symbiosis, industrial urban symbiosis, circular economy. I would like to ask you, what are the 3 top skills that you think should be enhanced, or where more teaching is necessary in these areas? You had slides, some of you at least, with 20, but if you would list the 3 most important ones, what would that be?
Understanding systems. So what are the resource flows where I would like to connect, for instance? Understanding the technical support that is needed and the business case that is needed for making those resource loops closed. Because we started at the beginning very often with this generic systems thinking, but that's not enough. You need to have as well the technical skills to understand, for instance, how you can do the carbon capture and usage, and you need to have the business case related to that as well.
But for what kind of students do you talk now? Because I mean, I'm in the Chem-E department, and these are the things that they are taught from hour 1.
Yes, but your students, for instance, at least the chemical students I know, you're not necessarily in the sense of how does a recycling company work? What is the business model of today's recycling company?
Yeah, sure.
No one who is working on recycling, improving mechanical recycling, chemical recycling. What is the reason why they are not collaborating? And this kind of system understanding that there are different actors with different goals and backgrounds, and it's very difficult to bring them together. This kind of knowledge, I think, is needed.
Yeah, from our perspective, as I said, the soft skill level is very important, and if I should go a little bit more in depth to it, so adaptability to change, that's very important, but also how shall I say it? The more and more decentralized decision-making competences are important, and also the interdisciplinary team working becomes more and more relevant for the different job profiles. These are the 3 which come to my mind. But in general, it's always to have how shall I say, green and digital skills to understand how they could enhance sustainability and how digital tools and measures could be used at the workplace.
That refers mostly to the VET area or in general, because I would say these are the things that we should teach at least at universities or Fachhochschulen anyway. So
no, that's as I said, our focus in the skills alliances, former skills alliances, are mainly VET, and now we open with this new project. We open this much more to higher education, because that was also a part we did not integrate so far.
maybe yeah.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Hard for me to add. I totally agree with the other speakers. But I would maybe summarize what Antonio said with be it students in the VET system or at university, they need to understand the people, where they're coming from and what they're aiming for is an important skill for future collaboration.
Okay, so first course in psychology.
Yeah, important.
Maybe one philosophical question before we close. And the problem with education always is that the amount of things that you can include is continuously growing. And you have to make a balance between breadth, depth, specialization. We cannot wait until everybody is 40 years old and has gone to school for 35 years until somebody becomes productive. So how would you say handle this? Is it necessary to include a lot of specialized knowledge in the first education, be it academic, be it VET?
I think we're often talking about this T-shaped system of skills and knowledge, meaning that there should be one discipline where you've got the depth you need, and then you would have the T in the sense of that you can relate to the different other disciplines that are needed. I think that's a nice picture to understand that. And very often you just focus on one field or on the other, but you do not really handle both.
Yeah, but this means that vocational schools, universities, etc., have to adapt new contents more quickly than maybe it was done before, because I know some examples, but I stop now. If it takes 3-4 years to change a qualification, that's too long. Then it has to be done much quicker. And but I hope that also vocational schools will use our modules much more, and we hope that we can. Together with EIT Raw Materials Academy, we are discussing now how we can connect our content a bit better, not to reinvent the wheel several times new. So, but that's. I'm not so scared about the universities. I'm a little bit more scared about the vocational schools, because my impression is that it depends on people, on teachers, if they are open for it or not. But the young generation, and now I stop, the young generation, I realized in a workshop, they are demanding this. For instance, they said, we do not want to get any printed documents for learning anymore. We want to have everything online, that we could use it at any time in different in-depth related to our demands and so on. But I think the world is changing. I'm too old to to manage
Yeah.
this.
It's an interesting question, to which extent then all this digital material is in fact digested and learned, and the same maybe holds also for all these wonderful courses that you can do, but do the people really do them, and do they do them seriously? And maybe if you get a certificate, or if you get something that you can use professionally, then maybe there's a strong incentive to go to the end and actually do the exercises and whatever is included. Okay, any closing remarks from your side?
No, I think very interesting presentations and discussions. So let's keep it.
I give the word to Alina back.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for this, also for the panel discussion. I think we can take home a few insights, and I think it was a great question from you, Sebastian, on the top 3 skills that are most needed. I think we will finish.
It will all end up in the final report, right?
Exactly. There will be a final report as part of the Hubs for Circularity project. And since we mentioned this, Sebastian, do you still want to give a brief presentation, or on the
yeah, okay. I flipped through some slides here.
1 second. I'm trying. Okay, share. Okay. Can you see the slides?
No. Yes. Okay, so this has been organized by one of the 2 projects that organizes the Hubs for Circularity community of practice. Next slide, please. So you probably all know the concept of not the panelists, but the other one, of the Hubs for Circularity. So they are ecosystems for the implementation of industrial symbiosis, etc. You have seen a very nice example from Höchst, where you could see it in action, with all the difficulties that it takes to go through with it. And then we have the community of practice now since 3 years, I think, which is there to accelerate the development of such hubs for circularity, and to progress to circular ecosystems in general. And essentially, it is a platform to share knowledge. So we have a big offering of information on this digital platform. There is the knowledge center that you can see here, and there are informations about projects, and we have a search engine if you want to write a proposal and you need to find out what patents exist in the area, then easy to access. It's a professional machine. And also the information about what projects have been done in what area already is, I think, very useful. And for some of the projects, we have actually collected more detailed and reliable information that you will normally find on the web page. So what did actually come out and what state of maturity was reached. Next one.
This is the last one.
Oh, there must be one with the join the community of practice, I thought. Okay, maybe I deleted it. No, there are 2. Okay, so one thing is that we have written a white paper on hubs for circularity, which one might be interested in reading. And here you have the web address to join the community of practice. And it's easy to register, nothing happens. Also, you're not spammed by information, but you can get and can use it to access all this knowledge that we have on the knowledge platform. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reminding me to do that.
Thank you very much. And I will echo what you said. So since we are talking about projects, EIT Raw Materials is part of another project as well, focusing on industrial symbiosis, but from a standardization perspective. So we have also a call for action. Who wants to participate? So the Risers project plans to develop a roadmap for integrating practice, policy, research, and innovation to promote the standardization of industrial symbiosis focused on priority synergies. And there's a call for participation in dedicated working groups. If you're interested in participating, please feel free to join via the platform of DIN, the German Standardization Institution, organization. And with this, I will thank you all for your participation again. It was very insightful, a lot of ideas, excellent experts, the best in class, I would say, on this topic. Thank you again for your time, and I'm sure we can take this discussion maybe and either face-to-face at some event or maybe in another webinar at some point. There are so many projects happening in the space. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.